What's up, y'all? I would like to introduce y'all to another episode of the Dress Code Podcast. It's your boy
Yes.
Bruhman from the fifth floor alongside my lovely co-host Ashley, aka the stylish local.
Hello, hello.
Now, my lovely Ashley, it just dawned on me that these people don't know who the fuck we are.
Man, they have no
Where did we
idea.
come from? How did this happen?
Why are we here?
How did we get here?
Mhm.
So tell them how we got here. Who are we and what's going on here?
Well, listen, I'm Ashley from the Stylish Local. I don't even know where to start. Like, do I start with my background? Do I start with like bringing the idea to you?
We'll start
Like,
with letting them know who you are first.
I guess that's fair, right? So, my name is Ashley. I don't want to say I'm a content creator, but I should say I'm a content creator because
Don't walk away from your light.
listen, like I'm not consistent, right? But fashion enthusiast, content creator, and now one of the hosts of the Dress Code podcast. I am.
Podcaster.
Yes. I never thought I'd be a podcaster. Honestly, I didn't even want to say it for a long time because I feel like podcasts get such a bad rep.
Yeah,
Like, and I was like, I'm not that girl.
oh,
No.
you are her. Welcome to the gang.
But honestly, when I had the idea to do this podcast, I really just wanted to make sure that we had a space. And when I say we, I mean Black people, people of color, but also, yes, it's still open to everybody, but I really think that it's important for us to have this space because I think a lot of times I saw so many like fashion and style based podcasts, but they were ran by people who do not look like us.
Absolutely.
You know, who don't have our backgrounds. We're West Indian kids from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that was pretty unique and like a great, I guess, thing for us to have. But mainly just that I know I love this shit and I know you love this shit. And so, little story time background, right?
Let's get to it.
um, so I went to school for fashion merchandising. I started at Kingsborough Community College. I got my associates, and then I went to LIM, and that is where I got my bachelor's in fashion merchandising with a concentration in fashion publishing. So your girl was in school and also working in the fashion industry, like on the retail side since I was 17 years old. So I had a lot of retail experience, and then going to school, got all of my internship experience, I guess the book experience, learning all the things I need to learn from the professors. And fashion has always been something that I wanted to do, has always been literally one of the main passions that I've had. If it wasn't music, it was going to be fashion. So, and since I'm not getting on the stage and singing for nobody, y'all was going to get these looks because that's all I got for you.
She said y'all was going to
No,
get these.
I can't do it. I have stage fright.
Yet
Bad.
here you are.
Because it's only me and you here. So it's not that bad. But yeah, so I had the idea in my mind to do a podcast. I always wanted to have a live show, like interview people on their looks and really kind of just talk to people who are super passionate about fashion. But I didn't know where I wanted to go with it or like how to go about it. So at first I was going to do it by myself, but I said, that's boring. Then I thought I wanted a co-host. Now, he didn't know that I had him in mind the whole time, right? And up until we actually met up in June, was it June or July?
It was definitely August.
Dog, it was not that.
I was on my motorcycle. Remember, I didn't fix my bike.
Yeah, but it wasn't
I didn't fix my bike until like
August.
August, really. Yeah.
Okay. So whatever.
July, August.
Met up with him in August, right? Like I said, he had no idea that I wanted him to be my co-host. And up until then, we had never met each other. We met each other in person briefly in passing at a party. Briefly in passing at a party, we met each other. But other than that, we just followed each other on Instagram for years. But for whatever reason...
Pause.
What?
Do you know when I was cleaning up my page the other day, I was in like the year 2014 and I saw you in my likes? I was like, oh, she wasn't lying.
No, I'm dead serious. Like,
It's really been years.
It's been bad long since you was winding up on people with a wig on your head like that.
Continue with what you were saying.
That is how long, right, that I've been following him. So anyway, I finally decided to hit him up because obviously if you don't shoot your shot, whether it's romantically or business-wise, you don't know what's going to happen. So I slid in his little DM, okay, and told him that I wanted to meet up with him because I had an idea that I wanted to discuss.
Shout out to Lips Cafe.
Absolutely. So we met up with at Lips Cafe in Brooklyn on Nostrand. Shout out to Jermaine because that's one of my favorite places. If you have never been to Lips, I need you to go. Get the Woo Matcha, okay? Get the bacon saltfish. The Rasta pasta slaps too. But anyway, like I was saying, we went to Lips and we literally sat down for 6 hours.
Yeah,
we
was
6
there
hours.
mad long.
It was a minute. We sat down outside, and I had my laptop. Did I have my notebook? I don't know. But I had my laptop, and we literally just wrote down almost 60 different topics that we wanted to talk about on this show. We also just chopped it up about life, fashion, our ideas, passions, whatever it was. We really just sat down and talked for hours. And then here we are. Here we are now. I am so happy that I finally really pushed myself to step out of my comfort zone, because this podcast is necessary. Me and Bruhman being on this podcast together, I feel is necessary. The way everything happened so seamlessly. And I feel like when things are supposed to happen and, when you're in alignment, that is how it goes. So now we're here at the dress code. And we're just interviewing people. We're talking about fashion. We're talking about everything we love, what we like. And also not even just fashion, different things that also tie into fashion. But I think that me and Bruhman have so many different interests that it's dope that we can have a platform to share our interests with other people and allow other people who may have a business or a brand to come and use our platform to promote theirs.
Absolutely. Well, and you're doing a phenomenal job at it.
Thank you.
I love that for you. I'm so happy that you decided to walk into your light. Honestly, very seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, like she said, my name is Bruhman from the 5th floor. I guess pretty much everybody knows me for the most part from, IG comedy videos. I'm gonna stamp it. I am one of the godfathers.
Ooh, he said godfather.
I am one of the godfathers of this IG comedy. You feel me? I was ahead of my time, and but even with all of that, throughout my whole life, fashion has always been a major forefront, major catalyst in defining myself. Even if it's down to just a simple sweatsuit, no matter what it is, fashion has always been very.
Still put that shit on. Sweatsuit or not?
Still sweatsuit. Nah, still want that. Big CC. Cartier fragrance, I won't even look at you. You feel me? It's always been a major part of my life and everything that I have going on. And, a lot of people approach me about every day I'm getting approached about doing a podcast.
Really? Well, you had your own podcast before.
Yeah, shout out to Freaking Frack. Shout out to my boy Why Not. You feel me? We had the Freaking Frack podcast. I've done a lot of radio. I've done a lot of things, and people always, because of the success of Freaking Frack, and how I guess articulated and moved on there. A lot of people felt they wanted to reach out to me and do that, stuff like that. And to be honest, a lot of people are really just all talk. A lot of people are just all talk. Ideas sounds good, things sound good, and then or they'll present to me the idea and I'll start shooting shit off to them, and then they just automatically, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So it's like, get back to you, because it's like, I didn't think that through.
Right.
But I've been doing radio, I've been doing podcasting for so long. I understand and I know what it takes and what goes into this. Feel me? I'm not a master at it. I'm not a genius at it. I'm learning just as much as the next person as we go along, but that doesn't take away from the amount of years that I've been in it. And I know the work that goes into it. So some people shy away from the work. You hit me up. Well, Ashley hit me up and she said, I want to sit down and talk to you about starting a podcast. And when she said fashion, I was automatically sold. Anybody, I was already in the door. You feel me? I wish she would post more pictures and stuff like that and more content about fashion, because when somebody tells you they want to do a fashion podcast, the first thing that you got to do is go look, well, what do they know about fashion? What do they do about fashion? And if you was to go to Ashley's page, you might be a little bit confused.
Ooh, he's dragging me.
Because there wasn't a lot of content about fashion.
He's dragging me right now.
But after I sit down and you understood the importance of cerulean.
Yo, if you have never watched The Devil Wears Prada, please go watch it so you can understand his cerulean comment.
So if you watch other episodes, you always hear me to bring up cerulean. It's our insider joke because I love The Devil Wears Prada. You feel me? So, when we sat down and we had a conversation about the podcast for those long-ass 6 hours in the sun in the middle of Flabbers, I realize she's not only informed in fashion, she knows way more than me in fashion. And I have a lot that I can learn from her, because we come from the same I would say we come from the same vein of fashion. We're familiar with the different houses of fashion. That's where we share. But where our paths venture off is I also go off into the streetwear of things. You feel me? I've been into the streetwear for years. Brands that people are now coming into the forefront are things that I've been wearing for years.
Yeah, I mean, you put me onto a few different brands, and just things streetwear related that I had no idea about. So,
you feel me? And you're more so in tune with the logistics of fashion and what I was, the logistics and the history. You feel me? Because in that 6 hours when we sat outside, we was breaking down. You was throwing out names of who used to be the creative director of this and creative director of that and here, and I'm just sitting there like, damn, I just thought it was just like regular shit. You feel me? Like, who would have thought that they was the this and the that, and you're breaking out seasons of this and seasons of that, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly where I feel like I need. That's the transition that I want to make into into fashion. I want to go deeper than the name of the brand. It's more so the fabric, the texture, the textile, where they getting their color from, where they're getting their sample choices from, what the real logistics of it, and that's where your expertise was, and that's where I realized that we would click because I can learn from you and you can learn from me, and people take podcasting for me is not it's not a platform to just run my mouth and talk all day. I use podcasting to learn. Every guest who comes on our podcast, or excuse me, any podcast that I'm a part of, I'm using that as a tool to learn something. I want to learn because I clearly don't know something about this, that, or the other, and I want to learn something about it. Of course, dialogue, conversation, input, those things are going to come and be a part of it. But every single podcast that I've done, I've learned something. I've walked away. I've learned something, whether it be about myself, whether it be about the world, no matter what it is. And just having you as a co-host alone is just, I learn every day and just pick up on certain things. Like, and that's the beauty. And that's the beauty of really the beauty of fashion. A lot of people, surprising as Cap, a lot of people probably just don't respect the fashion world. It's just close to them.
Exactly.
It's just
and
close
that
to them.
always upset my spirit.
And it's a lot of and people do feel that way. It's just clothes. It's just material. It's just a piece of cloth.
Absolutely.
There's a meme that goes around where girls are sitting out smoking a shirt and she says, "To you."
Right.
You feel me?
To
you.
Yes.
That's what it is to you. But to me, a kid who was self-conscious about his looks, or wasn't always the most appealing, and who wasn't always the most attractive, you feel me?
Not Bruhman, who the girls be in your DM
you gotta
and your
relax.
comments all crazy.
There no female is in my DMs. You gotta chill. You feel me? But who wasn't always there. Clothes was all I had. Clothes made up my identity. That's all I had to rely on. I've always been heavily based in the fact. I've always been best dressed. I may have not been the most handsome. I may have not been the tallest. Well, when I got to high school, I was the tallest. But I may have not been the most of anything. But if it was one thing I was always the best at, it was dressing.
Yeah.
I was always best dressed. Since teachers used to tell me they used to look forward to seeing what I was getting ready to come to school with and what I was getting ready to put on. You feel me? Because that was my shelter. You feel me? Like, you can say whatever you want about me. I got big lips. I got a unibrow. I got this. I got that. But you can't tell me I ain't put that shit on.
This outfit's fly though.
You feel me? You can't tell me I'm not putting it on. You feel me?
Right.
So to you, it's blue. But to me, it's cerulean. You feel me?
So funny.
So everybody has the things that makes what their passion is, and you feel me? And fashion just happened to be one of mine. You feel me? I got skating, I got bike life, but fashion is something that's always been since day one.
Yeah.
And to have this podcast here with you where I get to share my passion with somebody who gets it. It may not be the same walk, may not be the same thing, but this is what we're here to learn and to understand the different things and and the aspects of what makes this world that we love and makes this culture that we love. You feel me?
I'm excited though, because I feel like I said, this podcast space, we don't have a lot of people who look like us. So for me and Bruhman to come on here and just be ourselves too, and just be comfortable and, unapologetically us, especially you. Like, I think we balance each other out very well.
Absolutely.
He is this very big personality. He's very loud, animated. He is funny as hell. And then you have me. I'm like low key. I'm a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved, but I still be talking shit.
But most importantly with that, you reel it in.
I reel him in. I reel him in
in.
because he can go off on a tangent.
If I go off on a tangent, if I fly off the wire, you feel me? You can reel me in and just bring it back down to ground. You feel me? And that's the beauty of having balance. You feel me? When you have a balance with a co-host, you feel me?
Yeah.
And we hate a lot of the same things too as well. We hate a lot of the same things.
He'll send me a picture. I send him a picture. He'd be like, "Why?"
Hate a lot. BBL fashion? Oh God, no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna go.
Jesus.
We're gonna go down that road. No. We're gonna say that for another episode.
Yeah, it's coming. The episode is coming. I promise you, it's coming because it's a conversation that needs to be had.
We're gonna have to say that
expeditiously, like immediately.
But there's so much. There's so much that we have in store for you guys. You feel me with the podcast? I promise you, it will never be so help me God, there will not be a dull moment.
Right.
You feel me?
I highly doubt it.
And also, aside from it not having a dull moment, you will walk away with learning something, and you will learn to walk away with being informed of things. Every time for every guest who's come up here, one of us has we both have left inspired. You feel me? By people's testimonies,
absolutely.
By people's stories, by the steps that it took to get there. And so much that's invested into the house of fashion. Because in that sense, fashion is the house, because when you think of it, it's bigger than a shirt. It's bigger than the pants.
Yeah.
It boils down to sneakers. Boils down to belts. Boils down to glasses. It boils down to accessories. All different forms of accessories. Fashion it has many veins. It has many things in its DNA. And the guests that we have, who we bring up here, it's not just going to be influencers who's just going to tell you, I was the first to get the mischief big red boots, and I got this, and I got that. No, we're bringing real life people with real life brands, real life testimonies, real life starting points, real life style. You feel me? I'm not here for the fast fashion. I'm not here for the people who are just here to make a quick name. I'm focused on individuality, people who really know what they doing.
Absolutely.
You feel me?
Because that's also like one of the main parts and main reasonings, I should say, of wanting to start the podcast, because I do feel like people don't realize that there is a difference between fashion and style, right? And fashion is basically what you're sold, is what you're told to wear, it's what comes down the runway. Style is what you do with it, how you put it together. You know what I'm saying? You really feel someone's personality and just vibes off of their style. And I think that a lot of people don't realize, like I said, that they're just two different things. And on this podcast, I think there are so many different people who are extremely stylish in their own right and do not get enough credit for it. Absolutely. And I feel like I'm tired of seeing the influencers in their minimal outfits and everybody's raving about how groundbreaking it is when there's a woman from Brooklyn with 2 kids who puts that shit on every single day and she's fly as hell. Where is her credit? Like, where is her credit? Because these influencers honestly aren't doing anything, groundbreaking. And this is no shade to influencers either, because I am, I guess, also in that influencer space. It's really just more so like I am extremely passionate about what I care about.
Absolutely.
I care about this shit. And I really, really want to see people who deserve, the attention, who deserve the praise, who deserve the credit, get that. Because it's hard nowadays, I think, especially with the way social media is, to really not stick to who you are, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like a lot of things get overshadowed by instant gratification of like just liking something on a post. People will buy the current it thing, the current it bag, and do it no justice with the styling at all. At all. That's another thing. It's like it just looks a mess. But I feel like there are people who really, like I said, just know how to put pieces together, who are extremely talented, who have a vision. And I think vision is so important when you are talking about your style.
I want to piggyback off of something that you said, and this is not to throw shade at anybody. It's not to ruffle any feathers. I'm going to say this very calm. I'm not going to be animated. You said the word passionate about what you love. I don't want to turn anybody away from what we have going on here. I want it to be, if you cannot use this podcast as a learning tool, then you do not belong watching this podcast. This podcast is not here for you to sit up and try to turn your nose up at us because we we invest more into our wardrobe than we do into property. This is not a place where you can try to tell me that it's just material, it's just clothing. If it's just material and it's just close to you, well, I hate to break this to you, this podcast is not for you.
Yeah.
If you're not here to hear my opinions or either one of our opinions, with all due respect, this podcast isn't for you.
Yeah.
I'm here to pop my big one.
Period.
I'm going to talk my shit.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ruffle some feathers.
Absolutely.
I will do my absolute best at doing it without disrespecting anybody.
Right.
I will give my opinion respectfully, but I will not side with everything. Feathers may be ruffled, feelings can be hurt, and you can say what you want about me too. I'm all for it. Ain't shit I ain't heard before.
Exactly.
It ain't gonna be shit I ain't heard before. But I'm just letting you know what this platform is standing for. We're here to talk about fashion. We are a fashion-based podcast. So if you do not care about fashion, this ain't the place for you.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want to learn, if you want to step up, if you're intrigued,
tune in.
Open arms.
Yeah.
So open door.
Yeah.
But if you're here to be closed-minded and to be argumentative and bash and put down, and even though we're going to put down some of y'all horrible-ass outfits, but that's our job. You feel me? That's our job.
No, yeah.
But if you're here to down the platform, keep that over there. Just go watch something else. Watch what's for you.
Right, exactly.
There's a niche for everybody.
There is a space
if you're into tech and you hate fashion, go watch tech podcasts. If you're into trucking and you hate fashion, go watch trucking podcasts.
Yeah.
Into sports, watch sports.
Absolutely.
But this here, to come to this space and to be upset with what we're passionate about,
right?
I ain't got no room for that.
Yeah, no, because it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
You don't have to tune in. And like I always say, ultimately, like life is short, right? Do what you want to do, wear what you want to wear.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side of that, we have opinions and we're going to share them. You know, this is our space. You are welcome into our space. But, you know, I definitely just want it to be an open conversation because I feel like a lot of people are scared to say what they want to say, especially on Instagram. Because God forbid, you know, you say something in the comments or you just express your opinion in general.
You become a hater.
It's a mess.
You're a hater. No, you're tacky.
Period.
You look Jamaican.
Damn.
Lord God, fuck.
So these Jamaican people are gonna tear him.
I'm getting blocked. Lord, I'm playing.
It's a joke, guys. I swear to God, he's joking. No, but honestly, truly, like I am just really, like I said, I'm so excited about what we have in store for the Dress Code podcast. So far, what we have, like 5 episodes up? No,
5.
Well, when you guys see this episode, we will probably have up 5 episodes. Yeah, and honestly, like we are really just looking forward to having dope people on this podcast. If you guys think that there's anyone who would be an amazing person to interview, who they have great style, they have a brand, they're an influencer, whatever it is, reach out to Bruhman, reach out to myself. You could DM us on the Dress Code podcast. You could email us at thedresscode at GML. At gmail.com. But either way, let us know because honestly, we are really looking for people to just, you know, come on the platform and talk to us about the things that we all care about and that we're excited about and that we're passionate about. So that's my little 2 cents.
Listen, I want to thank y'all for inviting us into your homes.
Yes.
Inviting us into your cars.
We appreciate
to
it.
your YouTube search bar.
Mm-hmm.
The Dress Code Podcast. We're here to make a statement. Thank you for all the support that we've been receiving so far. I've been receiving a lot of support in the street from a lot of people who I wouldn't even be surprised who's tuning in. And everybody seems to say the same thing. You guys got something different here.
Yeah,
You know,
I've heard that same thing too.
We're not coming up here. I'm not interested in how many positions you could get bent over. I'm not interested in.
I don't want to talk
your
about
dating advice.
What men and women should be doing in their personal relationships.
Who pays first?
Right.
I'm here to talk
pays
about who
the
put
rent?
that shit on.
Okay.
I want to know who puts that shit on.
All right. Do you know?
That's it. If you ain't talking about coming to put that shit on.
And with that said, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to another Dress Code episode. We out.